This year I want to start watching and discussing seasonal anime, and winter 2021 will be my first season. Since Uru and Suppose a Kid from the Last Dungeon will be airing in just a few days, I figured now would be the best time to tell you what I'll be giving my first impressions on, and whether I think I will enjoy them or not. It's also to provide you, my audience, with a sense of what's coming out this season, and what might be worth watching. I will not be watching any new seasons for shows of which I am not up to date. So while Uru Camp and Promised Neverland will be getting a watch, Dr. Stone and Quintessential Quintuplets will not. So, going in the order that Mal placed these shows on my list, let's get started with 2.43 Seiin High School Boys Volleyball Club. As a massive Haikyuu fan, I'm cautiously optimistic about this show. The description implies that the primary team will be a tad more quirky than our Karasuno boys. I just hope that whoever wrote this show understands that Haikyuu didn't become famous because volleyball is in style right now, but instead because it intricately crafted a set of likable, engaging and flawed characters who are continually evolving personally and in their abilities. Exam is about a young man who's good with electronics, seeking to better himself when he suddenly dies a tragic death. He stays dead for a good 16 years until he is revived in the form of an AI. That sounds like an interesting enough premise for a show, but I have to say the ecchi tag makes me a little nervous. Hatataku Saibao will be an anime about little people who live inside the body and keep it functioning, which in and of itself is a great premise, but what makes me excited is that we'll be following the workers of a body that is continuously subjected to alcohol, cigarettes, and stress. This show will be one to keep an eye on for sure. Horimiya looks like a slice of life about high schoolers who have more going on in their lives than people assume. I could see this show being one that I like or one that bores me to tears. I love slice of life shows, but I've seen so many that I can't bring myself to sit through one that is just average. However, the idea that these kids have struggles that directly contradict their reputations gives me hope that this will be a good one. Hortensia Saga looks like it could be fun. It's about the rightful heir to the throne disguising herself as a man and attempting to reclaim her homeland. I don't know a lot about fantasy anime, so I can't make any predictions, but I've always been a sucker for a good quest. Jaku Chara Tomizaki-kun is about two gamers who meet and supposedly fall in love if the tags are any indication. A similar premise to High School Girl, but what made that show great is that video games were just the precursor. They were what brought our main characters together and how they contextualized the world around them. In the end, it was a show about personal development and building relationships. If Jaku Chara Tomizaki-kun can capture that essence or focus on another aspect of its characters, then I can see myself enjoying this one. Kaifuku Jutsushi no Yaranaoshi is about a healing mage who goes back in time to change how they specialized. I like the idea of a redo part of your life story on paper, but the only times I've ever seen it executed well are for shows that I would spoil by naming them. You might be thinking about real life, but my main problem with that show is that I didn't want to see the protagonist change. His issue did not lie within himself, but rather the society he lived in. So I'd love a protagonist who can use their second chance to change themselves for the better. Next, we have Mother Freakin' Log Horizon Season 3. I love Log Horizon. I was sure that we would never get a third season, and I have never been so happy to be proven wrong. For those of you who don't know, Log Horizon is an isekai set in an MMO. Unlike Sword Art Online, dying in this world just has you respawn, but the stakes come from how immortal beings create a fair, comfortable and functional society. I haven't read the light novels, so I'm very excited to see where the story goes from where it left off in Season 2. Mushoku Tensei is a story about an otaku who saves a stranger from a truck collision and reincarnates into a fantasy world. And yes, the only part of that sentence that is original is the title. Writers should have stopped using the dies saving someone from a truck collision setup after Konosuba subverted it, but alas, here we are. I guess the idea that he'll reincarnate into a baby with an adult mind could be interesting. Still, it's going to have to explore that concept thoroughly if it's going to escape the generic trappings of its genre and the ecchi undertones of its main character. Skate Leading Stars is a show about ice skaters, which makes me think it's going after Yuri on Ice's niche, like how 2.43 is muscling into high Qs. The difference is that I never watched Yuri on Ice. Since I'm not interested in ice skating, the show will need to hook me with its characters, or show me why I'm wrong to not be interested in ice skating. Suppose a Kid from the Last Dungeon is a show about an aspiring adventurer who sets out to attain real strength. That may seem generic, but as someone who hasn't seen enough fantasy anime to be turned off by the status quo, this is one I'm excited to watch. My favourite part of most shows is watching a character grow and evolve, which seems to be a primary aspect of this story. That, and as I said earlier, I'm a sucker for a good quest, so fingers crossed they can pull it off. Tenchi Sozo Designbu appears to be a story based on the memes about how unreasonable or unconventional God was when designing animals. There is so much opportunity for creativity and observational humour that if the showrunners can use even half of the premise's potential, it will be fantastic. If the comedy can land, I can see myself liking this show immensely. Wonder Egg Priority is about a 14-year-old who is convinced to break an egg by a disembodied voice. I don't know anything beyond that. This show seemingly has a cute art style, so that'll give it some points, but what this anime will live or die on is its characters. After being my second favourite Red Hot Go for last year, you'd better believe that I'm excited about the Promised Neverland Season 2. If the showrunners can make this season half as well written, half as tense or half as intriguing as the first season, then you'd better believe that this will be a best of the year contender. Uru Camp is a show that I first watched when I started this YouTube channel, and I loved it. It's about a group of high school girls who are passionate about camping, and the show can have an almost tutorial-like tone at times. While I don't expect any groundbreaking writing from the second season, I do hope for more relaxing scenes depicting my favourite outdoor pastime. This anime season has 4 idol shows. Gek Idol, which is set in a post-apocalyptic world, Aichu, which looks like a surreal comedy set at an idol school, Idols, which looks like a professional VTuber production, and Idly Pride, which looks to be a more serious MHA style I want to be the greatest idol there ever was story. I don't know where this idol craze has come from, but I'll be sure to give each show a fair chance, and who knows, I may even be a Watasotsu by the end of this season. Also on my list are many shows for which I either don't have any exciting expectations or don't have enough information. Besides the show I have already mentioned, I will also be watching ABC Air, a kids show that I likely won't have much to say about. Bakaro will be my first mecha show about a man trying to regain his memories. Stray Dogs One is a gag show about gangsters, I think. Ramune is a show about a cocky young doctor curing a mystery disease. Kemono Jihen is a supernatural mystery show that will live or die on how good the mystery is. Kumo Deska Nanika is an isekai about a young girl who gets reincarnated as a spider. Maiko-san Chi no Makina-san is a slice of life about 2 girls who share a lodge for work. Oredaki Haireru Kakushi Dungeon is a fantasy ecchi harem anime. Probably won't be getting too far into that one. Project Scarred is a superhero show about a pseudo police force in a lawless land. Skate is a show about participants of a dangerous skateboarding race. Take what I said about not caring about ice skating and replace ice skating with skateboards. Soko Musume Senki is an action military fantasy show with no synopsis on Mal. Urasekai Picnic appears to be about college-age students exploring a mysterious fantasy world, and Diva Alive is a show about games that has no synopsis on Mal. Those are the shows that I will be watching in winter 2021. I'll watch at least the first 3 episodes of each show, and then only the ones that seem interesting. You can expect a first impressions video towards the end of this month. If there are any shows you want me to keep a particularly close eye on, or any that you will be watching yourself, please let me know in the comments. That's it for this anime season predictions video. I'd like to thank my patrons, Orion Tran, Quincy Chamberlain, Jaman5, Lars Espen, Shark, Data52, Nerks U, Pixcalibur, Alberto Cruz, Tyler Bennett, Tenka, and Jeremy Pashik. If you too would like to support my channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/BehindBigJoe. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.